Hi there folks, in this video what we're going to do is play around with adding some damageable objects. So an object which when you walk into it, it will actually cause damage to the player. So what I've already done is created a folder, called it damageables, and created a sprite. Remember, when you import sprites for the first time, make sure you apply 2D texture settings like so. So what we're going to do is just quickly create a parent class actor, and we'll call this damage class object like so, and we're going to add the following data to it. So the first thing is we want this to be a sprite. If we wanted, of course, this to be animated, we'd make it a flipbook, and we also want to add a lovely collision box as well, and let's just set this to roughly the size of the object. 0.3 will do nicely. Now what we're going to do is create a variable, and we'll call this object sprite like so. Just set this to sprite actor object reference. Fantastic. Compile that, then make it public. Then we're going to add just a quick line of code which is going to look like this. We're going to get this sprite out of here. We're then going to get or set sprite like so, and then attach it to our lovely public variable, and then set that on play. So what should now happen is if I choose to create a child class of this object and call this fire, I can then just set this sprite to being fire, and it should then just work and appear as our lovely fire sprite. Just move this into the actual viewport. There you go, the water is now on fire. Fantastic. Right, so what we're going to do is just create a basic damage system as well on the actual parent object. So with this in mind, we're going to drag the box out like so and do a begin actor overlap. We're then going to drag this object out, and we're going to do a cast to main player, and then get the player character like so. And then what we're going to want to do is remove some health. So if we go to content, we're going to just have to remember what we called our player health, and that was under player stats, wasn't it? And then player health. So if I go to get player stats, there you go, then break this, that'll then find our player health. Now what I can do is add a damage stat. So damage amount float, there you go, make this public as well, so we can then change this depending on what we walk on top of. And then what we could do is set player stat to being made by player's health minus that float amount for the damage amount. Now we need to think about what we want to set our damage amount to. So what should happen is when we now walk on top of this, we should then do some damage. Just to be sure, because we have collision at the moment set to block all dynamic, I'm just going to set this to no collision, because we want this to be something a player character can walk over the top of. So remember, this was for our actual main class. So if we go to damageables and then we have fire, we double click on it, there we go, we have our lovely fire sprite and how much damage it can do when you walk on top of it. So now if I just chuck this into the world, and we'll put this into a location where we can see it and walk into it, there we go. So there's my health at the moment at 1.4 when I get the armor, and then if I walk on top of it, there you go, my health is reduced each time I go on top of the lovely fire stat. And there folks is how you build a basic damage system into your 2D game.